Now, what we didn't know is that James Aspey was Jean Aspey before taking the vow of silence, and after a year of not speaking, he came back Australian sounding. Help our loved ones and friends heal themselves.
Save it might not be that good, I don't know. It's been a while. Is not some sort of mundane diet choice. It is so much more than that. Veganism is the difference between enslavement and freedom. It's the difference between torture and peace. It's the difference between death and life. It is we are blessed with the opportunity to not cause harm to these beings. We are knowledgeable about the facts that we can live and thrive without consuming the products of violence and killing. So we don't need to eat meat. We don't need to eat dairy or eggs to live a full, happy, healthy life. In fact, the studies show that we're likely to live a longer life, that we're likely to reduce our chances of developing many of the biggest killers that we're currently faced with, including heart disease and diabetes and cancers, obesity, osteoporosis, and the list goes on and on. If you ask a crowd full of vegans, what's one of the best things you've ever done? If your kids aren't sitting next to you, you'll be like, when I went vegan. That's what everybody says. It's that we've been taught that it's natural and normal and necessary to consume the products of violence. It's natural, normal, and necessary to love some and kill and eat others. And that if we don't eat them, we will die. Basically, right? We need meat for protein. We need dairy for calcium. Don't worry anyway. Fish don't even feel pain, and they get humanely killed. Basically, they get tickled to death. They love it. That's what happens in a slaughterhouse. Don't worry about it. Look at this cartoon. See this cartoon? That's how happy all the cows are. And this 6 billion land animals and over 2.7 trillion sea animals that are killed every single year by humans for foods and products that not only we don't need, but that we are far better off without. And almost no one can even see that it's there. And that was me too. It took a few wake-up calls for me to realize, wow, I'm eating someone's body right now, a murder victim. I do not want it. I am not a murderer. I'm not gonna contribute to this anymore. So there's a lot to this. This is a big deal. And one of the most important things, right? The first thing any of us should do when we become aware of this information is to become vegan. That's step one. That's not the Herculean end goal that only very few can attain. That's not it at all. That should be our moral baseline. It should be just, that's what we always say, the golden rule, treat others the way you want to be treated. That should be where we start, veganism. And so that doesn't mean you have to go vegan overnight. It would be sense to me that this can continue forever. It's too blatantly wrong in so many ways. You just have to look at it. You just have to look at a slaughterhouse and say, okay, very clearly violent and cruel and bloody. So step 2 is help others do the same. How?
What's the site again?
Animal-rights.com. You just do animal rights FAQ into Google, it's the first thing that pops up. It's an incredible resource. Maybe vegan soon? You gotta answer that question. That's a valid question because we have been indoctrinated to believe we need it or we'll die. If you don't contribute to this killing, you will die. That is the message that is being sold to us. Wow, how sadistic. It's incredible to me. I've just been thinking lately, this is a bit of a side topic, but this is like a death cult. With like dogma, with indoctrination. You're born into it, you're eating baby food that's made from lamb or beef. You're eating a baby. Babies are eating other babies when they could have just eaten something else. And then there's the indoctrination. You must stay part of this cult, or if you even try to sway a little bit, you're dead. Like, That's what they tell us. That's what I learned in school. You need dairy for calcium. You need meat for protein. Right? I thought that as a personal trainer for 8 years. Thought free range is marketed as a way to be less cruel to animals, but actually it isn't necessarily any less cruel. Sometimes it might be, and sometimes it might not be. Species someone who wants to live. Now there are differences, but the action is still that of murder, in my opinion. If you don't like that word, if that confusion it distracts you from what I'm really saying, use slaughter, use killing against their will, whatever you want. But I like to use that word because I feel like it's justified. So, free range means next to nothing for the animals. In fact, they all end up at the same slaughterhouse. And we're someone in the throat. How do you compassionately push somebody into a gas chamber? Go on, there you go, there you go. Turn it on. Like, it doesn't work like that. You can't do something violent, humanely. Euthanasia would be an example, but I wouldn't say that's violent. I would say that's an act of compassion. This is not euthanasia. They are not willingly going down the chute of a slaughterhouse, and there's countless videos to illustrate that point. They are fighting for their life. They desperately want to live and don't want to die. You cannot humanely murder. You cannot humanely child abuse. You cannot humanely enslave. You cannot humanely do anything of a violent, cruel nature. And we shouldn't be looking for a way to do the wrong thing a nicer way. A lesser of two evils is still evil. And there's no right way to do the wrong thing. And like, guide them, you know, and that's fine, that's fine. That's just part of understanding, you know, human psychology and understanding cognitive dissonance, which is when you get new information that is contrary to something you've believed for a long time, a strong belief that you hold, and it just deflects off because that's just how your brain works. No, I can't take this on. It's completely opposite to what I've always believed. So we need to understand that these things happen in the human mind, and some people, that's exactly what they need. They need it to be backhanded across the face with a vegan message. They need it. Just put your vegan badge in your pocket for a second, bit of violence, put it back. Some people need that. But in my experience, and from what I've learned, and through a lot of trial and error, trying different ways, modeling my own activism on people who were more aggressive and things like that, what I've found, by far, definitely without any doubt in my mind, the best way to spread this message is from compassion. It's through modeling the type of behavior that we're talking about. We want a peaceful world, we want a respectful world, we want a compassionate world. Model it. Don't be warm and educate. And I was like, did you just try to improve on my quote? It's my quote. It's the blame and shame. Don't blame and shame, inform and explain. I don't know what they're doing. They don't know that they're making jokes about, you know, such. You wouldn't make jokes about a lot of the history, right? The history humanity has is a history of violence, of war, of oppression in many different areas. We don't make jokes about that, really. They're very distasteful and people don't really appreciate them. When people are making jokes about what happens to animals, they don't know any better. Forgive them for they know not what they do. And if they don't, yes, the action is bad, but I love you, I respect you. If my brother wasn't vegan, but he is now, but if he wasn't, there'd be trouble. No, if he wasn't, whatever. If my brother wasn't vegan, I could say it like this. You know, because some people say, you should respect, I respect you being vegan, you should respect me and my choices. I say, I respect you, I do. I love you. I respect almost all of your choices. But I'll never respect your choice to intentionally harm and kill innocent beings. How could you expect me to respect that? That doesn't deserve respect. I respect you a lot. But that action I will never ever respect, and in fact I condemn it. I think it's wrong, and I think you're wrong for continuing to participate in it. But I love you. I love you. Hate the sin, love the sinner. It's three parts. Two of them are equal parts. Equanimity and observation. Equanimity means balance of the mind. So you're not wanting good things to come, you're not wanting bad things to go. You're accepting the moment as it is. equanimity. The second part, the equal part of that, is observation. Observation of your physical sensations. So the example would be, I'm talking to this farmer, I get anxiety. What we usually do is fight the anxiety. I don't want to feel like this. I hate feeling like this. You're adding negativity to something already negative. That's not the way to go. Or we run. Maybe we run to TV, we run to food, we run to drugs, alcohol, we're going to run to bed, whatever. No, that's not the answer too, because then you're teaching yourself that you can't handle it. You're not strong enough. They're the worst things to do. They get you deeper into your habit pattern of reacting to those negative sensations. In the moment you do this, anxiety, okay, accept it, it's here. Fighting it isn't going to do anything but make it worse. You accept the moment as it is. Okay, anxiety is here. And that brings a peace. The acceptance brings a peace. Equal to that is observation of your physical sensations, which means, where is this anxiety? Okay, it feels like a tightness in my chest. It's here, there's heat, and you're observing while accepting. If you're in, there's a whole reason why of that is, I don't have time to explain, unfortunately, but trust me on that for a bit and just try it and see how it works. So when this comes up, you don't run from it, you face it head on. What does this feel like? Where is this in my body? Let me go in there. And you go in and you accept and you observe. Two things. Now the third part that isn't equal, but is very important to remember, is impermanence. Because this will not last. Just like every bad feeling and every good feeling you've ever had, they've come, they've gone, they've come, they've gone, they've come, they've gone. And in the moment, if you can remember that this won't last, and if you had a timer saying 3 minutes to go, you wouldn't stress so much about it, because in the moment you're like, oh. But remember, this is impermanent, this will not last. So accept what is happening, accept the anger, accept in the moment, accept whatever it is, observe it fully by going into it and feeling it as much as possible, and remember that it is impermanent, it will not last forever. And that is a technique called Vipassana. And if you want to learn more about it, you can do a 10-day course at a Vipassana center. They're all over the world. But we have all the privilege in the world. Look at us right now. We are killing the game. We are absolutely up there, right? Yes. We are the luckiest of the lucky. We are the most privileged beings of this planet. We need to. The least we should do is dedicate at least a portion of our time, a portion of our life, of our energy in service to others. There's no greater service than helping others out of their suffering, saving lives, and there's no easier way to do that, to fulfill that purpose, than spreading the vegan message. So I encourage all of you to make that a priority in your life so that you can get active and you can help make a difference for these animals. It doesn't mean you need to be a speaker. You might do it through food, you might do it through fitness, you might do it through videos, an Instagram post every now and then, just sharing your thoughts, conversations with people at the bank. Oh, this is why I went vegan, wearing a vegan shirt. Whatever it is, you might be in business, you might have a lot of money to invest, you might want to build a sanctuary, you might just want to help out at a sanctuary every now and then. There's countless ways. An artist can design prints or billboards, whatever. There's so many ways. Whatever your skill is, point it in the direction of spreading the vegan message. And together we'll make such a huge change in this world. We're already seeing it, and there's so much more to come. Thank you all very much.